Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ma'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just another quick lesson through the Spirit. This article was sent to me. It was from the whitehouse.gov. It says, fact sheet, President Donald J. Trump modernizes payments to and fro America's bank accounts. Okay, when you think of that term modernizing, it means that they're upgrading to more digital means, meaning transactions that's still through digital means. All right, something that's not going to leave a physical paper trail, but yet they have record of all accounts of every transaction. Reminds me of like the direct deposit. You remember, like back in the day, you used to have a paper check. You go pick up your check from your job, you go cash it or put it in your bank. And in many ways, you can still opt in to do paper checks at your job, but they want to phase all that out because under the salesmanship of convenience, which is only convenient because it's ultimately the start or the takeover for this new world order, okay, which it's already in the process of being set up. Okay, what we said was they're going to coerce you through gradualism to push you into a digital system, whether you consent to it or not, which most people have already consent to it and don't even realize it because they haven't done anything to stop it. So when you go here, it says March 25th, which is roughly it was last week because this is April 2nd. It says today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order to modernize how the government handles money, switching from old-fashioned paper-based payments to fast, secure electronic payments. And this thinks about the stimulus checks, not the stimulus, but the what do they call the Doge, your Doge check. You know, Department of Government Efficiency, which is over by this Elon Musk guy, which is a technocrat. But basically, we said it. I said it at camp Saturday. I said I could see them sending this Doge check through, I won't say conventional means, because conventional means is be a paycheck. Like when we got the stimulus, there were paychecks that were sent in the mail. But they're going to do it through so-called modernizational means, meaning that they're going to use digital payments. Okay, now whether they send it digitally into your account, they're going to need access to your bank account. And in order for people to get this money, you're going to have to give your information over to the government, which, I mean, they pretty much have it. But in order for them to authorize it, you got to give them the consent or you ain't going to get your Doge check. They're going to say, well, we need your bank account. We need this and this and that. That way they'll put your deposit, your check in your account like the IRS. But then when push come to shove, they need to get their money from you. They can just go in your account and take it, which is the ultimate form of control, man. All right. And you people, you've opted into it because you've been pushed so far beyond the rabbit hole to the point you people are already begging on your knees to get help from Big Daddy government when this was the plan the whole time. But it says the order mandates that effective September 30th, 2025, which is roughly May, June, July, August, September. That's roughly 6 months away. All right. The federal government will cease all issuing paper checks from all disbursements, including intergovernmental payments, benefits, vendor payments, and tax refunds. Okay. So everything is going to be digitally uploaded into your account. This includes Social Security, your retirement, whatever you get, because your retirement check really comes from your job. But it says all executive departments and agencies must transition to modern electronic funds transfer, EFT methods like direct deposit /debit /credit card payments, digital wallets, and real-time transfers. It says payments made to the federal government, such as fees, fines, loans, and taxes, must also be processed electronically where permissible under existing law, which there's no law in that. Okay, that's just through coercion. There's no law saying that you have to do things digital. You can't put that. I mean, they can make it law, of course, but regardless of it, man, this man is making moves. It says the Treasury will phase out a physical lockbox service and expedite electronic collections of federal receipts. And a comprehensive public awareness campaign will be launched to inform federal payment recipients to the shift to electronic options and offer guidance in setting up digital payments. So here we go. Okay, this is going to be the start of the rollout of digital payments, which will eventually be put on a chip. It says exceptions will be made for people without banking or electronic payment access, which that's only going to be done so long because eventually they're going to figure out how to put it like on some type of digital dollar wallet or something like that. Like for people that may work and they don't have traditional bank accounts and they don't want to go pick up paper money, your job will send you a debit card and load your paycheck on a debit card, and you can do whatever you want to do with it, which is still ultimately the form of control. But it says here, certain emergency payments, certain law enforcement activities, and other special cases qualifying for an exception under the order or existing law. It says the executive order does not establish a central bank digital currency here yet, but it says defending against financial fraud and improper payments, and that's what they use it under. But it says President Trump is cracking down on waste, fraud, and abuse, and this is how they're selling it to you, in government by modernizing outdated paper-based systems that impose unnecessary costs, delays, and security risks. But wait a minute, man. If you're doing everything through digital means, which is through a computer algorithm as well, isn't that just as at risk for shit getting hacked? Because you can hack computers, you can hack digital payments, man. You know, systems and so forth. You know, like under that encryption method, all that shit is hackable, bro. So of course, this is the reason why we've been having all these so-called cyber attacks and the IRS leaking your fucking social security numbers and all this other stuff. Because, like I said, man, it's all about control, gradualism, man. You see, it says paper-based payments such as checks and money orders impose unnecessary costs. Sure they do. Delays and risk of fraud, lost payments, thefts, and inefficiencies, right? Meaning like a lot of times if a check come back and bounce, it falls back on the consumer. But wait a minute, man. What about sending money to Ukraine and Israel? Isn't that causing a lot of money and a lot of taxpayers' money, unnecessary spending? But when you mention that's when you get labeled anti-S. Like this chick, Candace Owen, she has to be included in on a lawsuit. She's been subpoenaed to court for Kanye West because he was basically saying anti-S rhetoric. Like, since when do my First Amendment rights go offline for these people? You know what I'm saying? Like if I say fuck Amalek or something like that, all of a sudden, oh my God, you're anti-S. But wait a minute, I thought the First Amendment protect that. You people are fucking pathetic, bro. This is why the Lord can't come back strong enough, quick enough. Anyway, 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices, right? And we see how they're, through craft, they're pushing this electronic-based system. It's all through craft because he can't come out and say, well, we just want to control you and we want to be able to do what the hell we want to do with you people. He ain't going to say it that way because he'll have the quickest form of a revolt on his hands. But even then, with Americans, who really knows, right? Because, I mean, you can literally piss in these people's faces and they won't do a damn thing about it because these people are that stupid. Okay, the fact that you have a Title 4D system over your head and the IRS hanging payments and fines over your head and you still ain't revolt. I mean, at this point, it's safe to say that you can get away with just about any goddamn thing, you know? But it says mail theft complaints have increased substantially since 2020. And historically, Treasury checks are 16 times more likely to be reported lost or stolen, returned undelivered, or altered other than electric funds transfer. But maintaining a physical infrastructure and specialized technology for digitizing paper records cost the American taxpayer over $657 million in the fiscal year 2024 alone. And check fraud is becoming more common, with banks issuing about 680,000 reports of check fraud in 2022, nearly double the number from 2021. It says that digital payments are more efficient, less costly, and less vulnerable to fraud. And so they say, all right? Because like I said, control. Talking about $657 million alone, you don't care about the taxpayers' money because if you did, you would literally be putting money back in the pockets of the Americans. You would be lowering the cost of living, rents. You know, the fucking car market is getting ready to get hit with 25% tariffs. I mean, you will literally put the money back in people's pockets. But what do? You sending billion to Ukraine all the time, and you sending fucking hundreds of billions to Israel with our fucking money. you know. So I'm not trying to hear that. But nonetheless, this is Bible prophecy. So, hey, call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, so this is the book of Daniel 8, and I'm going to start at verses 25, and it says, and through his policy, and we got to qualify this is going into Antiochus, but he's coming in the same spirit of the New World Order. Okay, as this guy Trump, he's Nero, all right, and he's totally breaking this system. With Trump, you may see it's possible that, and people were saying it, they said, well, look, man, we may see some type of societal collapse dealing with Donald Trump, man, because I mean, look at what he's doing. He's planning on putting tariffs on the entire world, and he's slapping sanctions on Russia, all because he's pissed off with them due to the Zelensky situation in Ukraine. I mean, it's complete madness, man. And it reads, and it says, and through his policy, he shall also cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he should magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the princes, but he should be broken without hand, man. All right. But it says he should craft. It says he should cause craft to prosper in his hand. Yeah, because it's all witchcraft. Okay. In the minds of the people, this is a so-called noble thing, but this is really infringing on your freedoms because, I mean, why do the government have to have access to everybody's money and their livelihoods and their business when technically the government, which goes into mind control, but they're public servants? Okay, they're supposed to work for you, keeping your neighborhoods and your roads clean with your money. But see, what happened is that you put your money in the hands of the elites. Like, I think, what was it, Meyer Amschel Bauer, if I'm not mistaken. One of them Rothschilds said, look, give me the control of the nation's money, and I care not who writes his laws. Okay, so once you guys opted into setting up a Federal Reserve and eventually down the line making the U.S. dollar the centralized currency and putting it on a credit-based system, this is when the government was able to go in and have everything at their leisure about you. And this is the result of it. Now you people don't know what to do, all right, because you're too busy on TikTok, worried about the TikTok ban coming up April 5th, and you're too busy in these reality shows and the MTV Hip Hop Awards. And this is why your ass is getting ready to be straight up steamrolled, man. All right. Go to Sirach 12 and 10. And it reads, it says, never trust thy enemy, for it's like iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Yeah, you can't trust Esau, man. And it says, though he humbled himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. It says, and thou should be unto him as if thou have wiped a looking glass, and thou should know that his rust have not altogether been wiped away. So, right. So it sounds good, but this devil is in the business of deceiving people, man, because he's the devil. Like I said, and it's ultimately about control. Because Esau wants to play God. He wants to play the Most High. And that's just the bottom line. I just to simplify it. Okay, there's no long, dark, or convoluted breakdown of that. It just, he goes through nefarious means and he tackles his his business through deceit and the sword. But the plain old thing is that he wants control. Okay, according to Psalm 64th chapter. Psalm 64 and 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrections of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bow to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, man. Okay, and these are the bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, and suddenly they do shoot at him and fear not, right? Because now it's just like, okay, we're blatantly out in the open with our plans. And who's going to stop us at this point? Okay, you dumb, stupid Americans, what you going to do? Okay, you busy putting fast food on Klarna and trying to buy eggs to the point we able to do what the hell we want to do to you people. And it says they encourage themselves in the evil matter, and they commune of laying snares privately, and they say, who shall see them? Okay, so now it's just like, okay, we have our new world order plan out in the open. And it says, and they search out iniquities, and they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. The think tanks, man. Okay, they literally have up lower level luminaries that they set up in these corporations to literally sway the mind and the thinking of the people through espionage means, man. CIA. It says, but Yahweh should shoot at them with the Nero, which is first and foremost the truth, and certainly they should be wounded. So they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them should flee and run away. And this is why you have so much of a division among Esau. All right. Actually, I got another article too. Same thing, whitehouse.gov. modernizing payments to and from America's bank accounts. Okay? It says, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the law of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. And he's done away with every constitution. He's literally violating every constitutional rights that you Americans have, okay? To the point your free speech is on the line, okay? Your ability to assemble, all types of shit. I mean, just the fact that you're assembling in peace and they're deploying police officers with riot gear on shows you right there that they don't care about your First Amendment rights. And honestly speaking, it's actually in the Constitution that when you have a dictator set up that's engaging in the shenanigans that Trump is doing, the Biden administration had done, that they've done the last 10 administrations ago, you people are able to assembly and form a militia to take down this tyrannical government. But you people are so corrupt-minded to the point if you took this place down and you eliminated all dictatorship, you people will literally turn on each other because you have no type of semblance of government or morality within yourselves, man. You know? And it says the continued use of paper-based payments by the federal government, including checks and money orders, flowing into and out of the United States General Fund, which might be thought of as America's bank account, imposes unnecessary costs, delays and risk of frauds, lost payments, theft, inefficiencies. Mail theft complaints have increased substantially since the C-19. It says, historically, the Department of Treasury checks are 16 times more likely to be reported lost or stolen, returned undeliverable, or altered than electronic funds transfer. Maintaining the physical infrastructure of specialized technology, which will eventually be the chip, for digitizing paper records, cost the American taxpayer over $675 million in the fiscal year alone. Okay? It says this order promotes, and this is the order here. It says here, this order promotes operational efficiency by mandating a transition to electronic payments for all federal disbursement and receipts by digitizing payments to the extent permissible under applicable law, but not for avoidance of doubt to establish a central bank digital currency. See, they got to put that in there. It says step 2, section 2 policy. It is the policy of the United States to defend against financial fraud and improper payments, increase efficiency, reduce costs, and enhance security on federal payments. Section 3 is to phase out paper check disbursements and receipts effective September 30th, 2025, and to the extent permitted by law. The Secretary of Treasury shall cease issuing paper checks for all federal disbursement, inclusive of intergovernmental payments, benefits payments, vendor payments, and tax refunds, except as specified in Section 4 of the order. All right. Let's go down here. Look at this. And this is pretty lengthy. I'm not going to read it all. You can actually go on whitehouse.gov and get this information. What it says here. It says the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Secretary of Education, the Secretary of Veteran Affairs and Security, Homeland Security, should take the appropriate action to eliminate the need for the Department of Treasury's physical lockbox service to expedite requirements to receive the payments of federal receipts, including fees, fines, loans, and taxes. Wow. Direct deposits, debit and credit card payments, digital wallets, real-time payments. Basically, what's going to happen is they're going to be able to have access to all your information. And what happens is if you owe a debt, they can go in and take your money. It's just that simple. I mean, that's basically what this is saying. It's all about control. This is going to be under what they call totalitarian means, man. Okay, a fucking dystopia. And what are you people doing about it? You should read this shit, and you people should be literally in the streets right now, pissed the fuck off, doing what you got to do. What are you motherfuckers doing? You're going to work, getting taken advantage of by the system. Taxes are going up. It's like you people are stupid as all hell, but you know what? Hey, play dumb games, you win even dumber prizes is my motto, right? But anyway, let's go to hear the Psalms. I think it's Psalms 94 and 21. I like this precept. It says here, should the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? Okay. And it's mischief by law because eventually it's going to be law that you do it, or at least under the color of law, that you opt into this man's system. And if not, then you can't have a job, you can't live, you know, which is all designed to get you mentally prepped for the RMOTB. It says here, they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood, right? Because this is all to wease out the Israelites, man. Okay, to condition people's minds to accept this digital shit going on here. And it says here, they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, which is the elect, and condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my power is the rock of my refuge, and he should bring upon them their own iniquity and should cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord Yahweh should cut them off. Okay, so that's going to be the end of it. They're not going to be able to be successful. I mean, they're going to get the digital shit up and running, of course, because they will phase out cash. But even then, when people are voting or when people have issues with it, some way, somehow, they may just do a cyber attack or they may cause blackouts. However they're going to do it. It's going to scare the shit out of people to the point it's going to shake them up and make them want to opt into this system because they got to coerce you into doing it. Okay, which goes into Revelation 13 and 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right? That's that so-called political system. Your Democrats, your Republicans. It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, which is going into the revival of the Roman Empire, which we currently are at, or currently in. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna end it giving out praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you are edified. Until the next lesson. Shalom.